So do we have, I know we had pre-approvals from the last one.
So look at the first color agenda.
Mhm.
It has the pre-approvals from both. I should probably talk into this too. If you look at the first color agenda in your packet that I left on the dais for you, it should have the pre-approvals from the meeting 2 weeks ago and the pre-approvals from tonight.
I see them on the back.
There's
I didn't
also
flip it over.
additional new information in that pile where there might be some where they were not really ready for a pre-approval, but had enough information that they added some, you might have one or two more you might pre-approve based on some information they provided. And I can also answer some questions. Like a couple of them were a little questionable, and it was more because it just needed a little bit of a dialogue from someone to say, this is why they're doing this.
Mhm.
And then I think it would have helped.
Okay. And then I have a question looking at that agenda too. Did you include the informational only?
So everybody liked the informational only. And so that's why we didn't add it back on, and I didn't give you the extra, but you can definitely get additional information but all of them were like, looks great.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. Just because the clients come or whatever.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's why
That's why I don't need to.
probably is coming.
So if they do come, they'd be information only at the end of both
Yeah,
sets.
and I already explained that. So
Okay.
I just want to make sure.
Very cool. Bob.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a great project.
Looks fun.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well then, work session, first item on here, we have 528 Olive, which is constructing a two-story addition. Let's see.
I had some questions and clarifications on this one. It says that some of the existing windows will remain except for the transoms. But when you look at the drawings, the grill pattern on the existing windows to remain is not the same as what's on the drawings. The existings are 6/6 and 8/8, but the drawings are showing 4/4s. And I was wondering what the resultant mix of grills would look like. So there would be a little clarification needed on that. And then also just some minor questions. There's a cap and base on the trim columns that are shown on the west elevation, but they're not shown on the rest of the drawings. And then just a couple of suggestions, perhaps adding a window in the laundry that's similar to the master bath window that they have. And then also considering adding another window to the east elevation master bedroom, on the master bedroom.
All right, anyone else? Yeah, that's from the one
I know.
that got postponed.
Previous, I didn't bring
Yeah,
it.
from 3 weeks ago.
It's a lot of stuff.
It's hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I had just made a comment as a suggestion about possibly adding windows, but to the laundry room, I said the same thing, I think.
Yeah. And there was a little, like you said, with the window grills or grids or whatever. And then the other window, there was a little inconsistency, but
Mhm.
You mentioned something about the band board. If there's a band board, did you say something about that?
Okay, I guess I noticed there was some kind of, it's probably graphic, but it looks like there's a band board proposed. I have a drawing, so.
Oh,
there-
here's the
so
drawing.
these are so-
Doesn't look like it.
Okay. Never mind.
All right. Any other comments on 528? All right, if not, so we'll have some discussion there. Moving forward, this is also from 3 weeks ago, 240 Chestnut, which was an addition.
So just as a reminder, you got updated drawings in this packet based on the comments you'd given in the previous packet.
This is the updated one. This is the old one.
Chestnut.
So
Oh,
the
okay.
comment I had on this one was that the front gable looks like it's out of scale on the front elevation, front elevation. So there's an existing gable at the front and the new gable is not accessible space. So I'm just wondering why it's so large on the front elevation.
Didn't have that comment, but
If you look on the floor plans, I do know there is larger ceiling heights in some of the rooms on the addition. Not up to 16 feet, but there are larger ceiling heights because I had to ask the question for zoning.
Okay.
So I had made a similar comment, but mine was just, the question was, did they explore doing a hip on the front? Because the existing house has that hip, so it kind of recedes.
yeah.
And I realize it's a two-story space, so it would just be it would still be a two-story space, but.
Yeah, it seems like the roof is a little extreme for the situation.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not a new entry, which would make me feel more comfortable with it. It's taken away from the front, I think.
Right, it's gonna,
I was a little confused about the plane of the gutters and they're showing return gutters, and I don't know if that really happens or not.
oh, I mean, there's not a gutter going
Well,
across. the
I
front.
don't know.
There shouldn't be. I
Well,
mean,
maybe that's coming from behind. So is this, that was my, is this in front of that? Is that the impression you get?
I think,
Oh, I thought they were the same.
The
thought
big-
it was-
I thought they were the same.
Okay, well then why is
Oh.
there a return gutter there?
Yeah, then there
Yeah, I
shouldn't be
see
a gutter.
My big concern was not having those twin columns together, and they got rid of that, so.
yep,
Yeah,
I was,
and the roof, they matched up the porch. I didn't think about this is would do it.
we'll talk about that one.
Mhm. Okay. So moving on, the next on the list would be 33 South Laclede, which was a window install.
And there's some additional new information that's at the dais for you on those that were supposed to answer some of the questions that were sent in your initial review. So you should have another piece in here in 11 by 17
Mhm.
that when I sent the comments to the applicants, they sent back some photos and some text that you can read off to the side.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for this follow-up information. This answers all of my questions and comments.
Yep. Mine as well.
So the bottom left picture is what they're putting in, right? Correct?
That is correct to go in with, for the windows that they can't that already had that sort of diamond pattern. It's a little different,
Yeah, it's a little,
but
Cool.
but it's a similar style. So
Yeah.
yes, bottom left is what they're putting in.
yeah. I found the whole packet here from renewal to be kind of confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would be good if we had like some way to tell people what to give us.
I know.
more. I don't know.
So
how-
we
'cause I know there's
have-
directions, but it doesn't seem to quite get us. the
And-
right thing.
And we have like a whole sample and we stand there and explain it and every single window company does something different and it's really hard.
Yeah.
And you're only seeing half of them. You're only seeing the ones that we don't have to look at. And if it's matching, we have to review to confirm if it's matching or not. Those are even harder to understand. But if that did answer all your questions, you could move it to pre-approval if that
Yeah,
took care of the questions.
So I have to ask the question, do we know why they're replacing their windows?
She will be on or someone will be on. And so you could ask that.
I hate to nag the question or,
Okay.
No.
but I always like to ask the question if they know that they could refurbish them, that they're gonna, if they replace them, they're gonna then constantly replace them. If they refurbish, you get to keep your windows.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
I was stunned at the price tag.
all right, so we'll talk about that one.
It used to be a
Next
1,500
one,
square foot addition,
let's see,
$150,000.
542 Oak, which is a rear covered deck.
And you'll have again, so the architect responded to a number of the questions. There are a lot of questions and the architect responded to the questions. And then he will be on Zoom to answer any other questions.
For me, I read the responses, which are somewhat helpful, but I still would feel better with drawings that show exactly what they're talking about doing, that clarify a lot of the detailing, a lot of the finished appearance, and also showing the new addition in relationship to the existing house, the relationships of the roofs, and a number of the other items that were brought up here that you can see in the responses. I would think it would be better for clarification and for the benefit of the project going forward to have drawings so everybody could see what this looked like and see what's being approved.
Still can't find it. Which one is it?
Yeah, I agree. I wasn't exactly sure what
What's
this
this
looked
one?
like with
Yes.
the, at the house.
Yeah,
And it might be fine, but without the drawings, I don't know how to know.
He'll be on and you can ask
Okay.
questions.
That was it for me too. Yep.
oh yeah, I see them finally.
And then Bob, the next one, which is listed as a pre-approval, it's a pre-approval with an amended plan that's in your pile. Because there was some question about materials matching, there was some various questions, so they provided an amended elevation and then clarified that the windows are being replaced with a similar size to the existing and similar style. There will be corner trim, same as on the addition. The fish scale will be replaced with horizontal siding. It'll have a 6-inch rake with shingle molding. New siding profile will be new siding will be a 5-inch profile, similar to the house across the street. So they integrated some of those answers into this latest drawing. And because really all the questions came from only one member and everyone else was a pre-approval, I figured that would clarify the questions and provided a new drawing so that you could change that one to pre-approval.
The member is satisfied with this. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That was 612. Next one is 304 Corona Court. It's a deck and a deck roof.
Oh.
There were just some questions about infill below and what's the real slope of the roof was, I know, two questions that I had.
Yeah, and I didn't understand the planter box, like what it looks like.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
that's right.
It's not really drawn.
Mhm.
Just curious if that goes to grade or if it stops. Not sure.
Yeah, some sort of section detail through there, how it's gonna be constructed. That's what it was, instead of the infill, because that's sort of acting as an infill,
Yeah.
which I think is a nice idea. It just seems like that, just missing missing any detail, exactly how it's gonna look.
Yeah.
Okay, did you already say anything about the railing, about a railing? I didn't
Mm-mm,
say that.
not yet.
Do they need a railing there? On the, 'cause isn't it 24 inches off the ground you need a railing? Or is it
Well, isn't it
30?
30?
30? Okay. Okay, so they're okay. Sorry, I
Yeah.
was looking for my drawings. We have a lot.
Yeah. All right. Any other comments? All right. So let's go on a court. Next, we have 512 Oak.
So you should have some additional elevations and photos of the existing construction. The photos, it should be a stapled one with
Mhm.
2 elevations on it of the front of the house and then 2 photos stapled to it in your new little packet that I left on the dais.
Oh, okay.
So the house is on, has been on when it was constructed on a very steep slope. So
Mhm.
as they were doing the construction, they were originally approved to have the stairs coming straight out. But knowing the combination of the slope with the stairs coming straight out, it was going to be this enormous thing. So they
Right.
decided to turn the stairs, have them
Mhm.
go towards the driveway instead, which is why they were coming back before you. And I can't administratively approve anything on the front elevation. So they wanted to try to clarify why they were doing the stairs. They went back and forth about they were going to do the siding to match the left-hand side of the house versus the stone. It does, and I know the drawing is trying to show a little bit of what's behind it, but it does, it's supposed to match the elevation as was approved with the siding going down that front. And so I asked her for some additional information because there were a number of questions still on like why this was happening, what was it doing, a little confusion about why it was or how it was turning. So hopefully that provides some of the additional information. They are still available to talk to you if you want to talk with them, or if you wanted to change it to a pre-approval based on the additional information, you can do that too. You've got multiple options.
I'm okay with the pre-approval based on the additional information. Anyone else is?
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I'm fine. I understand what they're doing.
I assume this is not a final grade.
No.
right? Okay, because I was gonna say, there's a lot of concrete showing.
Yeah, no, not final grade.
Okay.
Hope not. They'll really have a lot of stairs.
Yeah.
What kind of,
I guess I still think the front stair, I mean, I understand the challenge, but it just looks like a back stair to me now. It looks like a back deck. So, I don't know, I just gotta think about that one. But sounds like it'll go through.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that it looked better in the original
Yeah.
condition, but I understand their situation
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
Seems like,
right.
wouldn't they know that beforehand? though?
You'd think they would have known that, right?
Yeah.
Didn't they have a survey? But maybe they didn't, everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
I wonder, I mean, I guess this is fine, but it does feel a little like, I guess I also wondered if they could break it into two more, I don't know. Sorry, they
Looks
don't
more
need
like
to.
a front.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
like come out straight and then turn or something to help kind of mitigate the abrupt turn.
The railing, especially
Yeah.
the railing in
Yeah.
front of the door,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but that's, I don't know. But I'm okay with pre-approval.
And the architect's on and will be on in case you do want to talk. So, again, on ones that were iffy, I told people to come and attend. And that if they heard at the beginning of the meeting that something had been changed to pre-approval, they had that opportunity. But I only told the people that were already on this pre-approval list that they were covered and good to go.
Okay, so we'll discuss that one.
We'll just ask the question.
Sure. That's fine.
Might as well.
Right now we moved 33 South Laclede to pre-approval, but we don't have to move this one. We can leave that one for discussion. All right, and we have one more on the list, which is 336 Hillside. That's a new house. It's preliminary.
I kind of thought we might have approved this one prior to a different address.
Yeah.
I didn't have any comments.
Yeah, so I guess my comment was it doesn't have a second floor, and I just looked at the scale of it and wondered if they had explored a hip roof. Because I'm starting to see, these big houses, and then, it's one thing if there's 2 stories, but when there's no second story at all, it just makes me curious.
A hip roof would also help to mitigate the amount of siding that we have on the sides. That,
Yeah,
yeah,
That's exactly what I was thinking, that would help with that, because right now it just feels like there's just too much siding with no break.
mm-hmm.
And
I
then if it were just a
agree.
hip roof, that
Yeah.
would kind of bring it down a little bit. Yeah.
and I had a comment to add a window. Let's see, on the master bedroom on the left side elevation, just to kind of break up some of this amount of siding. But I think that the hip roof would go a long way to take care of the amount of siding. That would, be real interesting to hear if they'd like to discuss that.
The roof slope on the gable roof, the big part is 12.6, and the roof slope on those front dormers are 10.12. So they're trying to figure out if they did hip it, how does that work? They'd have to match the 10.12 pitch, which is going to take the top of the thing and make it higher, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure. This sort of was my reaction.
I don't know.
How
I
you
guess
do
I'm
it?
questioning if it works.
Yeah, well, right. Well, without a roof plan, but I could figure out how to make that work.
Yeah, I think so. I think they could make it
I'm
work.
pretty sure. No, I mean, I think it's a question. I've seen a few of those larger, 1-story homes, and it's the side elevations.
Yeah.
That are just seem, when we talk about scale, they seem out of scale, and this one looks that way to me. For a 1-story house,
Yeah, because that does, the hip roof makes it look, all the build, it just brings down any build.
Mhm.
And this just doesn't seem like it needs this. I don't, feels like you could do that. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Did you draw it on there?
Well, I was gonna say if there would have been a roof plan, I don't. think there was a
Yeah,
roof-
no, we don't have a roof plan.
Is that what we're talking about? Coming up.
No, oh, no. You mean?
I mean,
no.
it could be, Ken.
Oh,
I
you
don't
mean just
know.
Cut it off here, not, yeah.
No, yeah,
Just
that's,
chop those off.
I mean,
Yeah.
it could be that.
or we could do that. I don't even want
Make
to.
it big now. We don't want to make it a pyramid, but,
That's assuming the differing pitches don't throw out a curveball at us, but there's a way to resolve it. I agree. So,
Well, yeah, and if not, then I think the side elevations are a little. They could use something to break them up personally. Just a lot of siding. I think someone else said that, but some of the window heads aren't aligning either. I don't know if that's
yeah.
intentional or
Well, there's,
um,
it's these
transoms.
transom-like ones.
Yeah,
Which I guess kind of align, like here, there's just these two windows. And I think they need to add something there or something to help
Mhm.
with that a little, but here at least.
It's kind of a question, like if it happens at a stair or some event that's a little bit different, it makes sense, but I don't know either. But that's a preliminary one, so we'll have a discussion. So anyway, I think we made it through our list.
Yep. Did we?
We have a few minutes.
Got 3 minutes.
So is there going to be any discussion on Baum Park?
If you guys want to discuss, so all the information, I apologize, we didn't put it back in the packets again. But if you want to discuss, but all the feedback was, it looks great.
So since I saw Fred come in, I just thought I'd mention that. So really no need to wait around if you don't want to, because we can submit it now. There were no comments.
I'll look back through, but I think everything was,
Yeah, I did.
looks great.
Okay.
Much of us, yes.
There you go.
Get this old girl back in good shape again.
Yeah.
Sounds good. All right. Is it time?
You got about 30 seconds.
30 seconds to go.
I saw a garage that looks very much, I mean, a barn. I believe it's really a barn.
Oh.
It really was, behind a house,
Oh,
looking at something else. And I just thought, hey, there we go.
cool.
It's, yeah, one of the photos is back from 1927. And trying to clean it up as best as possible, but it's definitely the barn back there.
That's cool. Wow.
And then the driveway, the big 8 circles back. So there was a portico chair on the south side, and then the carriage would go on back to the barn. So pretty exciting.
Yeah. All
You're
right.
good to go.
All right. Well, thanks everyone that's online and in person. We just finished our work session, so the official architectural review board meeting is underway. I'm going to introduce Mara Perry, who's here tonight with the city. We also have Will Penny sitting with us, and we want to. Is there anyone else? No. We have Ken Burns and Angela Thompson, Carol Dunkey, and Tracy Collins, myself, Bob Buckman, volunteer architects on the review board. We have meeting minutes from some time ago.
February 10th.
Thank you. February 10th. And first item is to ask for a motion on those.
I'll make a motion to approve the February 10th meeting minutes as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? All right, the February 10th meeting minutes are approved. Next, we have a number of pre-approvals that date back to the last ARB, which was canceled due to snow, and then tonight as well. So we'll do those next. For ARB members, when you make your motion, please refer to the list in front of us. The first one is 60 North Bompard. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve 60 North Bompart with the clarification that the columns are 10-inch diameter permacast to match the addition built in 2009. The porch will be skirted in a manner similar to the front porch skirting. Shingles will match the existing house.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? 60 North Bompard is approved. Next, we have 348 Hazel. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a,
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve 348 Hazel as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? 348 Hazel is approved. Next, we have 541 Baker. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve 541 Baker as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Opposed?
Excuse me.
541 Baker is approved. Next, we have 33 South Laclede. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve 563. Oops, I'm sorry. No, are we going to discuss Laclede?
Oh, I thought we had agreed.
Oh, was Angela going to ask the question about,
The windows?
yeah, about the window
Are
replacement?
they online?
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just making sure I've got it noted correctly.
I
that
don't
alright?
see them online. You're
Yeah.
for 33 South Lacledes. Oh, we're doing the pre-approvals. Do you want to do the pre-approvals and then? well,
Yeah, let's just,
So
yeah,
she's-
that's my mistake. I'm sorry.
All the way.
Okay.
Right.
We'll circle back around. Yeah.
I think it's worth a discussion. Okay,
I forgot about that.
sorry about that,
That's
Angela.
That's okay. I marked it as pre-approval too. I asked
Okay,
the
next we
question.
have 563 West Glendale. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve 563 West Glendale as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? West Glendale is approved. Next, we have 209 West Cedar. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve 209 West Cedar with the understanding that a band board will be added below the second floor window to match the house.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? 209 West Cedar is approved. And then the last pre-approval is 612 Cornelia. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve 612 Cornelia per the amended plans received March 2nd.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? 612 is approved. All right, next, well, we have a number of projects which we're going to discuss with individuals in attendance, either in person or online. So as we read your project, if you're here in person, just please come up to the microphone and introduce yourself. And if you're on Zoom online, just raise your Zoom hand and we'll add you to the list. First one is 528 Olive. Is there anyone for that one?
There we go.
I'm on, can you see me? I'm Jeff Hernikoff.
Yep, welcome, Jeff.
How you doing? Hey, Ken, how you doing? Long time no see.
So I think we had some questions.
Okay,
Just some clarifications about the window grill mix. The plans indicate that the first floor windows, except for the transoms, are to remain. But the illustrations of the new construction aren't depicting those grill patterns accurately. They don't match the photos. On the new construction drawings, those existing windows are shown as 4/4s, However, they're actually 6/6 and 8/8. So will we have mismatched grill patterns with some 4/4 in the mix with the 6/6 and 8/8?
No, apparently the architect's CAD drawings or his system wasn't able to depict that correctly, but the plan is to match all the existing windows to match new windows to the existing. So it would be all consistent throughout.
Okay, so
Flow pattern of the existing. I think he sent some photographs, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, there's pictures of the existing.
yeah, so as a clarification, then we could, if we go forward with this, we could add to the motion that the new windows will match the grill patterns of the existing windows. Would that be accurate?
And that they'll all be consistent, yes.
Okay. And then just another couple of questions for you. There's a cap and base trim on the columns that's shown on the west elevation, but it doesn't show on all of the drawings. Do y'all intend to have the cap and base trim in the project?
According to the architect, yes.
Yes, okay,
And you
And
could
let's see what-
stipulate that, okay.
okay. Oh, and then there's a door on the west elevation, and the style isn't depicted on the 3D. Is that the existing door to remain?
Yeah, it's existing and it's gonna remain.
Okay. All righty. And then I just had a couple of suggestions. They're purely suggestions, not requirements, but to consider adding a window into the laundry room, perhaps one that's about the same size as the master bath window. And maybe consider adding another window to the master bedroom on the east elevation. And those are just suggestions. It might be nice to have some natural light in their laundry.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've thrown that out to them too. That's gonna be the owner's decision. I don't know if he's in attendance on the call, but we'll definitely take under advisement. And I don't think it's a requirement, but I think that it might serve them well to have that, at least that one in the laundry room for sure.
Well, you perhaps, depending upon the comments from the rest of the board, perhaps we can incorporate that as an option in the motion. So if they chose to, they could. But we need to hear from everybody on the
Yeah.
board.
Fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Jeff, can you tell me, I know someone just got added on, I don't have the owner's name in front of me right now.
It's David Irwin.
He just joined, so I'm going to add him on and allow him to talk.
Okay. You might bring up that last motion,
Last question.
comments about the windows.
Yep.
Yeah, hi. Sorry we're late. We have a newborn, so we were dealing with a little meltdown.
Understand. No
That's a
problem.
poor excuse.
We were just talking about the windows and
Mhm.
perhaps adding a window into your laundry room. It might be nice to have some natural light in your laundry. And also that would help kind of break up some of the continuous siding on that side of the house.
Sure,
And, would you be in favor of that? Is that okay with you?
Yeah, I think we would be all right with that.
Yeah, okay. And then we were thinking about maybe having it be about the same size as the master bath window, just kind of for consistency, if that would be okay, or we can
Yeah.
work it otherwise.
I think that makes sense.
Okay. Those are all my questions and comments.
Yep. Does anyone else on the board have comments?
Make the recommendation.
Yep. All right. Well, I think we've talked about the couple of the revisions and modifications that we'll put in the motion to clarify, and I think Carol can do this best.
She started it.
So, so
Well-
with that, I'll ask for a motion on 528 Olive.
Okay, well, she'll try to finish it up here for y'all. Okay. I'd like to make a motion to approve 528 Olive with the following clarifications. The new windows will match the existing windows, and their grille patterns will match the existing windows. There will be cap and base trim included on the columns, and there will be a window added to the laundry room that will be similar to the master bath window.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? All right, so Jeff and David, you are approved.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
All right, next we have 240 Chestnut, which is an addition. Is there anyone online for that one? Or in? Yes,
Yes, I'm Elizabeth Pankey.
welcome.
Thank you. This house was bought by a woman who felt that there's a large side yard and new construction on the street is considerably wider across the front. And so she felt that her house felt like a half a house. And she really wanted to put an addition on the side yard instead of going in the back. So we're adding a first floor master and a larger kitchen family area. And the roof has been a challenge. Initially, she wanted a 2-story space, but then she realized she would have a children's bedrooms above her. So we eliminated the second floor. But I heard your comments about the roof, and I'll just address that right now. I need to, because we wanted to extend the porch and have a porch across the front, we have a taller front wall. And we also have that side dormer that we're attempting to not completely cover up, but if you look across the street, there are houses that have this is like the size of a 2-car garage, and there's a good sized gable across on top of the single story garage. And we're essentially trying to unite the two sides of the house, the new and the old, by having the dormer carry over to this taller roof instead of having so many different little roof levels. I'm not sure I'm explaining it well, but we had the front gable, we have the hip roof, and we have the dormers. And so we're trying to connect them all into one larger house and not feel like it's two separates. Does that help at all?
Actually, so when you say that, it makes it seem more like it should have a hip, really, because the other part has a hip. Because this is going to make it look like this part's going to dominate the house. The big gable will be dominant.
Then I lose
Rather than
that
simply part of
dormer.
the house.
I'm trying not to lose the dormers on the west side. We are going to lose some of it, but not all the windows in the dormer. Because I'm trying to just have a cricket that would go up to meet it, but go dramatically slope down in the rear so that we keep one window in that dormer.
But the dormers are not, this is not accessible space.
The gable, yeah, right.
They're just,
Decorative?
they're just
Yeah,
decorative.
that's what I'm thinking.
Oh, not those side dormers.
Oh,
The existing house has a dormer on the west side.
okay.
It doesn't look like dormers from the west view, but that's really what it is. From the hip roof, there's 3 windows up there.
Yeah.
So you see how the front window has like a slope from the hip, and then we're going to carry that dramatically sloped to the back of the house so that we can keep that one window. And that's why I keep coming back to the gable. I tried turning the gable the other direction. I tried the hip.
So Elizabeth, could you explain, so if we're looking at the west elevation of the house, there's three windows up on the second story, right?
Yes, and that's a dormer.
Are you talking about the one that's closest to the street or the two at the back?
If you look at the front view of the house, you can see the line of the hip roof and you can see a dormer. So they're all, it's all a dormer. It's just weird because one has a sloped roof and then it's a shed.
Right, yeah.
This is challenging.
Yeah, it's just not clear how, so the first question was, did you explore just the front elevation from the street of the right-hand side, the new addition? Did you explore just having that end be a hip? To like reduce its dominance on the front of the house? That was the question, I think. I'm not sure how that would impact those other three dormers on the existing roof any differently than what you had drawn as a gable.
I guess I felt it had to line up with the hip of the main house, right?
I mean, if
Because
you
I
put a
need
hip
them
on-
all there for the porch.
Yeah, it feels like it might want to, yeah.
So it felt more massive that way to me.
Hmm.
Because now it has to go up to align with the peak of the hip or the dormer.
Mhm.
It seems like you could just leave it the same and,
Hip it.
hip it.
Mhm.
And then it would actually be, because then it ends up slightly lower than the existing hip, so it makes it secondary, which would be nice.
Okay.
I don't know.
I can kind of see her concerns there, because if you hip that, you look at that elevation and you've got that kind of distance off to the left, tiny little dormer on the front, which looks a little weird too. So
Oh, at one point I broke the mass up of the bedroom and the bathroom. So I had that same size little gable that's matching the house on the opposite end. And this almost ended up feeling like a mirror image.
yeah,
And that didn't feel right either.
I agree.
Yeah.
Right, it's not symmetrical enough.
Yeah.
Have it over there. It
It-
seems,
It's a difficult situation. I'm just kind of looking at it from, I guess what I call the casual eye. If
Now,
somebody
I
walking
can't,
by it on the street and looking at it, 2 years after it's built, and I guess I kind of, I'm feeling it is difficult, and I could go ahead and approve it. I do appreciate you're getting rid of the double column. That was kind of a,
yes, I missed that. Thank you for catching that. I can lower the pitch over the addition.
Mhm.
I guess I thought it was best to keep the pitch that's on the hip, but I did share with the owner a lower pitch over the addition, and she'd prefer not to, but I think if that is your concern, we can lower the pitch on the roof, knowing it doesn't match the rest of the house, but it just helps with the massing.
but if you're going to the gable, what you're trying to do as you drew it was match the slope of the gable on the existing part of the roof. Now, if you do what you just described, you're going to have two different slopes in the front elevation.
Correct.
Huh?
Correct. Yes, I would have a different slope. Yes.
I think I would prefer what you drew here originally, so over that, so.
Yeah, I agree with that. I understand it's a difficult situation. But I don't know that lowering that roof pitch and adding an additional roof pitch to the mix is really the thing to do.
It's to be avoided, not a good
Mhm.
idea. So,
I agree with that.
yeah, it's a toughie, but I guess my position is I would approve it. Leave it to you guys to talk further.
I don't know if you drove on the street And I probably should have sent pictures of what's going on across the street. They're complicated, very intricate, lots of gable lines, sort of interesting.
Mhm.
Showtime.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, I mean, I asked the question if you had explored it, and it sounds like you have, but I'm not sure that it wouldn't be better on the massing myself personally, but I don't think, I don't think I would not, I mean, I would approve what you have drawn, I guess. If you feel like that's better. If that's the case, does the window proportion look a little, like, I don't know if people feel about now it's this dominant plane, but there's a little bitty window in it.
Right, you have a larger gable with a smaller
Window, is that odd?
That looks funny. yeah.
I don't know. I was just thinking about the roof question before, so I didn't even think about the size of the window if it's going to remain until now.
I guess I just don't quite,
If those dormers on that new portion of the house are all decorative, I don't really think you need 3 of them.
this is a little.
I mean, if you want to do it, fine. I'm not saying not to do it, but if you didn't do 3, it wouldn't rain on my parade.
I was under the impression that those were open to the space below.
2 in the family room are.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
well, okay.
I mean, the third one, it would really be up high. I think it would be, and maybe we just eliminate that. I was trying to break up the long line of the side of the house.
Yeah.
Well, I'd be happy to.
I don't know. I just think it would be, I don't know. I just drew the hip on there and I thought, I don't know why you wouldn't do that, but, that's just me. So I think if everyone else thinks the gable's okay, then that works. I'm not gonna
think
hold
if
it
we
up.
go with the gable, it might be nice to have a larger window there so it doesn't, it looks a little disproportionate, like postage stamp sideways window in that big gable.
Just
Um,
match the window from the other dormer.
Yeah, I think that would help a lot
Fine.
personally.
Okay.
Well, it seems like the proportions of the other windows are more rectilinear, and maybe Elizabeth, if you were trying to make them match what's in the dormers, maybe they could all just sort of change to something a little taller and a little more proportionate to the existing house windows, and I think that would probably help.
Okay.
In my opinion, I don't know.
I agree with that.
Okay. All right. Anything else? I think with that, we could just make a motion with that revision.
Is the material, okay, yeah, so we're matching the shake and the other gable.
Correct.
Okay, yeah.
So the motion is going to be approve it as submitted with consideration that the shape of the windows be modified. Is that?
Yeah, I mean, I think my thought is that dormer window could be more rectilinear. So right now it's square. It should be taller.
I'm good with that. I just want to be
Yeah.
sure that's the only thing we're talking about.
I think that's all I'm talking about.
So it'd be the rectilinear windows, the longer would be in the new front gable and in the
And the 3
dormers.
dormers.
Yeah, that way if that's all right with you, Elizabeth, because then you're seeing them all in the same room, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. No, I bigger windows is great. That's great.
Okay. All right, with that, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve 240 Chestnut with the understanding that the dormer windows will be taller and rectilinear, similar to the other windows in the house. And this will apply to the window in the new front gable as well.
As the side dormers, yeah.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? All right, Elizabeth, you are approved.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good night. Next, we have 33 South Laclede. It's window installation. If you're here for that, just please come on up to the microphone and introduce yourself.
Good evening, I'm Nicole Patterson, I'm the owner.
Nicole,
Matt Nyberg with Renewal by Anderson.
welcome, Matt.
So can I ask why you're replacing your windows?
And they're very old and they're rotting out on the inside with stuff chipping.
I'm sorry, could you speak into the microphone?
Very
You can take your
old.
mask down.
Okay,
I'm
they're
not gonna-
very old and the whole interior is like falling apart and chipping. And some you can't open, some are like a guillotine when you open. They're just in really bad shape. And I like to be able to open my
They're all
windows.
wood windows, they're
Yes.
original wood windows.
Yes,
Did
with
you
lead
try?
paint and a bunch of stuff in there too. Yeah,
I'm sorry,
a lot of lead paint and other issues inside of there too.
there
to
is
be-
lead paint.
Mhm,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll just make this extremely short because you do have lead paint and so forth. That's a little bit more difficult, but you can get your windows fixed up. That is an option. A lot of people don't know that. The wood in your windows will last another 100 years. It's probably been there 100 years. Whereas if you replace these, even though these are very nice windows, they'll last about 20 years. That's their warranty. 20 years, someone else will replace them again. So it's something to think about. When people do it for simply sustainability reasons, it's better to keep our old growth wood windows. It really is. So, but lead paint is a little bit of a different issue especially if you have.
That you can't open and
Sure.
there's.
Yeah, that's always the case.
The
That's-
airflow in the house is really off and some of them are kind of dangerous to open too and not
Right.
working. And yeah, there's a lot of different issues from room to room.
A lot of opening can be fixed. That's actually not that big a deal when it comes to someone fixing up the windows, the old windows. Just to let you know, if you did
Okay.
think at all about getting them repaired instead of just creating more garbage, because that's what we'll
Yeah.
be doing. But
I
I
did, and
understand.
there, like I said, there are a lot of issues and there's a lot of, I mean, like really falling apart, like chipping and I mean, from room to room, like almost safety like issues, and some I can't, I don't know. It's just a lot of complication from room to room on like what would need to be fixed and
Yeah, sometimes they are. They're just not
Yeah.
quite
Yeah.
up to par. But
yeah, yeah,
it's-
they're
it
pretty
is-
bad.
It is nice to keep them if we can.
I
So,
understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
wanted to check. I appreciate you waiting.
No, I appreciate you saying that. Absolutely. Because we really did like think through and look through. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And I appreciate you waiting for us, just for me to
Problem,
say this.
no problem.
And my little sustainability thing when it comes to windows and so forth.
No, it makes total sense because there's a lot of other things that are going to maintain and stay in that home that way. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, sorry.
All right. With that, I will ask for a motion on 33 South Laclede.
I'll make a motion to approve 33 South Laclede as submitted, including the additional information that was submitted on 3/3/22.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Opposed?
Thank you
All
for your
right.
time. Have a
You
good
guys-
night.
You as well. All right, next we have 542 Oak. Is there anyone online for 542 Oak?
Yes. I'm here.
Hello, who's with us?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, my name's Pat McKenna. I'm the draftsman on this little project.
Welcome, Pat.
Thank you.
And Pat, just so you know, they do have a copy of the email that you sent with some of the answers to questions
Right,
in front of them.
correct. But I'd be glad to go through and give some more explanation on the individual questions. A little more definition on them. And I guess there were two different sets of questions here because some of them were repetitious. So concerning the email that Mara sent me, I start at the top of her email. So style of column wrap is unclear. The columns are going to be 6x6s, and they're going to be treated lumber sitting on, post base, galvanized post base on the correct size piers. And they're going to be wrapped with white aluminum wraps. There's going to be a base cap and a crown cap. And per the owners, they just wanted to have a smooth square finish.
I appreciate that you went through and gave us detailed answers to these questions. And it is helpful, but however, for the project record, and so we can be clear on how the project actually looks and what the finishes are.
Right.
I think that we would need to have revised drawings that show the finished appearance of the project and how it relates to the existing house.
Right. Well,
It's
on
gonna
my email, my email to Mara, reply email, I stated that somewhere I plan on doing another page or two with the revisions, dating them and everything, and giving more detail per your request.
Yeah, I would like to see that before we vote. That would be great. Thank you.
That's fine. I just had a knee replacement on Monday, so I'm stuck at home, but I've got my, got my materials ready, and I figured on starting, if not tomorrow, this weekend, to do these extra pages. With, having said that, if I get those done within, I don't know, 5 days or so, would I just furnish 7 copies of each page tomorrow?
Yeah, so this is Mara.
Yeah.
We typically say that if we can get it by Tuesday at noon, so that would
Okay.
give you Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday at noon. If you need a little bit more time, let me know. But
Okay.
Tuesday at noon is when we can put things together in order to keep it on the next agenda.
Gotcha. Okay, I will work on that and be in touch with you more.
Thank you very
And it's-
much.
I would say this. I did a lot of work buying some houses in Kirkwood and Webster back in the 90s and the early 2000s, and went before the ARBs in both cities back then. And the way you guys propose, handle yourself and talk about and discuss things is very impressive. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I will be in touch with Mara by Tuesday.
I will ask him how he would prepare.
Sounds good. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
your time. You bet. Have a good night.
You too.
All right, so we will not vote on 542 Oak. There's going to be revisions that were reflective of the comments. So I think if that's done, it should go pretty smooth. All right, next we have, I believe, 304 Corona Court. Is there anyone here for that one? Okay, welcome. Come on up and introduce yourself with the microphone over there.
I'm Bob McCormick. I'm with the contractor.
And Bob.
I'm Kathleen Spillers, and I'm working for the owners to get this project going. Robert McCormick is an engineer, and he's going to address the roof slope.
Sure.
And then I'm going to talk about the planter box.
Okay, great.
Okay. Comment was that we didn't show the slope on the flat roof,
Yeah,
and I realize that. And there will be a slope on it, obviously.
yeah,
That would be satisfactory with the city. And it would slope from the house to the front. I mean, to the rear, I guess it's the rear of the house, where the gutter would be and collected and disposed of the water.
So it'd be like a 1/4 inch per
I'm
foot.
sorry,
So it'd be a 1/4 inch per foot minimum or whatever the
Yes.
city
Mhm.
wants you to do.
this would be a relatively flat roof. It'd be whatever the city requires, or 1 to
Okay.
12 or whatever.
yeah, I think I'm not sure what,
It'd be a membrane of
yeah,
sorts.
yeah, it's going to be a TPO or a EPDM roof, it's always,
But we would make sure we had plenty of fall in order to get the water flowing from the house to
Yes.
the rear.
right. I think the code officials would mark that up as well. Okay.
What the other question did you have, Kathleen?
The plan, yeah, so the
Planter
question
box?
was, so it seems like the planter box is being used as sort of an infill on the west or right side, but there's not really any information aside from a note that says you're gonna build a planter box, and we were kind of curious as exactly what that's gonna look like.
I'm gonna let you deal with the material, but wait, I want to talk about it. It was a great idea from Bob, but as you see, there's a handrail there,
Yeah,
and that's on the west side as well. So the idea is the handrail is there, and the planter box is at that 24-inch at the deck level.
Uh-huh.
So when you come around, you're able to take care of the plan
Hmm.
right there. So it's really a error that it shouldn't be on top of the deck. It's deck level, so when she walks around, she's able to do her planting of flowers, whatever she's gonna grow, as opposed to being on the deck.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then there'll be a liner in the box, but we could give more detail of what that other.
So are you thinking the finish is gonna be horizontal wood or
Yes.
what kind of, okay. That was my guess, but it didn't say. And then the height off the grade. So if we were looking at the west or the right elevation, it's somewhere around, you've got that lower deck at 2'5" off the ground. Is that about the height you're thinking of the planter
Yes.
box?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Okay, so it just kind of continues
Yeah,
over
that
here.
line continues.
Oh,
That'll
that'd be
be-
kind of
that'll
nice.
look
Yeah.
nice.
Well,
Yeah.
that'd be so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. All right. I don't have any other questions. Anyone else? Okay. Well, I think with those clarifications, I think we're good. We'll just make that part of the motion.
Okay.
And then I guess they'll have to add the notes to the drawings before you submit them
Okay.
to the city for review.
Okay, we'll do that.
Okay, great.
We'll go before the board again.
No,
Oh.
they're gonna vote tonight
Okay.
with a motion clarifying those items.
Okay.
So when you turn in your 2 sets of construction drawings,
Yes.
those items should be addressed in it, and our plan reviewer will look at these notes and make sure that you've addressed them.
Awesome. Thank you.
Great.
you.
Thank you.
So with that, do I have a motion on 304 Corona Court?
Make a motion to approve 304 Corona with the following revisions. The flat roof will have a slope of at least 1/4 inch per foot, depending on the material. A gutter and downspout will be added. And then the planter box will have horizontal wood boards as a treatment on the side.
Very nice.
Oh.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye. Opposed? You're approved. That's a great project.
Yeah.
Very creative. And functional,
Yeah. Easy to do,
Simple,
too. Yeah. simple.
easy to do. Anyone could do it. Get a hammer. All right,
Move Crystal over to talk about oak.
all right. Next, we have 512 Oak.
Hi.
Welcome. All right, so we got the revised drawings. The question is, so you're just gonna use the vinyl siding to wrap it? Is there any trim on that?
Yeah, we'll like on the corner of the landing of the stair, we'll
Yeah,
have typical corner trim like you would at a house. It'll
Yeah.
be the same exact material as the house, as far as the siding goes.
right.
That's what they're showing, I guess.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna leave the skirt board exposed
We're
on top of it?
we're trying to figure out how exactly we still have to talk to our carpenter to see exactly, would it be better to do the skirt, or would it be like, how would we, I guess, transition from the siding to the skirt? And it might end up being that we have to build out almost like a wall, like a knee wall, so that instead of having the skirt there, we would hide it with the side of the stair with the siding. And so we're still trying to get that worked out with our carpenter of which would look better or easier in construction purposes.
What about using you've got that white trim board at the top. I don't know what height that is, but if you use something like that at the top of the wall. you know,
Okay, right.
And it was so that datum, I don't know, that's just a thought. I'm throwing it out.
Yeah,
I don't know what others might think, but or because you have the poured concrete porch, and so there's no trim there, but maybe just like a band, like the same height as that band board at the top could be used to trim out the stair landing, and the rake of the stair would be the same.
Right. Just the rake is where are you saying to have a band at the top, like right underneath the railing?
I'm suggesting that, yeah.
And then go down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you've kind of got a skirt board shown that's like full depth of
Right.
like a
right.
2x12, but what if it was just a trim piece, more like that's at the top of the
Okay. Yeah.
second story.
Right.
Had you thought about the projection with the new stair design, just expressing the band board of the deck itself and just doing a lattice?
So, well, because we have all the siding on the front porch that we kind of just want to tie that all together. And so it didn't look like an afterthought.
Okay.
The lattice, you would be able to see right through everything.
To some degree, yeah.
Yeah.
So did you think about bringing the stairs towards the street a little bit and then turn at all? Did you?
No, because it would have created a weird area between the stair and the house. Like, what would you, even if we would have pulled it out like 3 feet, 4 feet, what would you do with that?
You'd let the stair just be free floating, wouldn't you? I mean, you come out far enough where the stair is not up
Right.
against the house whatsoever.
Yeah, you could do it that way. Because if you created a shorter space, you could be more like stairs coming up to the house, a little more dramatic, maybe looking. I don't know, almost make it like, come down and turn so it looks more like a stair. Because there is a little bit of like it cuts off the entry just a little. I understand why you're doing it. I don't know. I'm just curious if you looked at it or anything, but
Because we
instead of
thought
making
about
solid, you could almost do something that brings it down. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, the site's a little bit trickier than what we were originally thinking it was going to be with the stair. And as the house has progressed, that's when we're like, yeah, the stairs are going to be this monstrous thing if we were to just go straight towards the street. And so we're like, well, what if we come off the deck or off the front porch, down onto a landing, and then turn at least, because we thought about the same thing with the railing kind of blocking that front door. So that's kind of why we dropped it where you step off the front porch down one step onto that landing before you actually turn. It's just trying to pull it away from the house, you kind of create this weird area between the stair and the house. That's why we just pushed it up against the house, and we are like 4 foot wide for the stair. So
Okay.
that
it is, I appreciate it's a bit of an awkward situation.
Yeah.
And it's done now. I don't know what else to do.
I like Bob's idea of trimming out with the trim that matches the existing. I think that would help make it look more finished and like an afterthought.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I will definitely make that change on there.
Okay.
Now that I'm
looking at these photos and looking at the drawing back and forth, I'm noticing that the trim around the windows wasn't installed. And the roof detail on the second floor is not the same as the drawing. I know that's not what we're discussing tonight, but I just wanted to ask if it's finished or not.
No, and we're still in construction, because obviously like the grade is definitely not right either on the house.
The grade?
Right, yeah, the grade, that's still rough grade that's going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, I understand that. I was just looking at the house in comparison to the drawing and just noticing that trim was missing and the
What,
around the windows.
the
You've
trim's
got
there?
some nice heavy trim around all the windows shown on the drawing.
There's trim around the windows.
Yeah, there is,
Just
but
doesn't quite match what is drawn,
It looks like it's different on the
Yeah.
front.
like
It-
this trim
Then
that
it
goes
is on
from
the side.
stone
Is
up
that-
and above.
right,
The side trim on the photograph, the side trim around the windows looks nice and wide like the drawings show. However, it doesn't appear that the trim around the front windows matches
Yeah.
that.
It hasn't been installed.
I think it's an illusion because the front windows are black and the side windows are white.
Mm. Yeah, so that extra line of
Yeah.
window makes it look less thick as the sides that are white.
Right, right.
Difference. That's
So I
why.
guess we can't say anything about colors, but why is the front black and the side white?
Question.
I'm honestly, I'm not sure. I think, I'm trying to think if this one was sold already or not. I can't remember. And that's what they chose.
Not, the trim is, I mean, the trim is not installed. Like if you look at the drawing, there's thick trim that goes from the stone on the jambs in the head.
But the windows don't match. So can we?
We'll go take a little drive out and check out the house.
Yeah, and also,
Right.
And, they
It
might
should
have
be
installed,
divided.
instead of a 5-inch trim, they might have installed a 3-inch trim. Is what I think happened too.
Yeah.
The elevation that was approved does show like a 5-inch
Yeah.
trim. I wonder if it was I'd have to ask my my contractor. It might have been a material issue and getting the 5-inch trim versus the 3.5-inch trim.
well, and also too, as Tracy mentioned, the finishes at the ends of the front gables on the photograph don't match the approved drawings. There's returns on the gables on the approved drawings and they're not shown in the constructed condition.
That would be the framer. Yeah. That's hard. Yeah, they're not there.
So is there going to be something above the stone, between the stone and the siding, or is that that?
What do you mean?
You know, like
There's a cap shown or a piece of trim shown on the elevation, but it doesn't.
Yeah, they're missing the sill.
Yeah.
There's like a sill there.
Mhm.
And then for the second floor windows, so the baseboard above the windows should just be the head trim, which it looks like on one window you have it that way, and on another window it's not that way, which they would, they should line up.
Yeah.
I understand some people don't do what I guess I consider the proper way of just using one piece of trim and not having two, but if you're going to have two, I mean, it should either be one way or the other, not one of each.
Mhm.
Let me see. I lost my elevation, my picture. There. Say that again.
The window trim on the front elevation on the right has an extra piece of trim on the head than the one on the left. They're drawn.
Right. They're drawn.
Yeah, they're drawn with just the band board as the head trim, but it looks like they're constructed differently, at least above the porch. It looked
Oh,
like yeah. Just make a note on that.
They almost look like, it almost looks like they lowered that trim board altogether is what happened, I think. On the, above the porch.
Mm,
Yeah,
Or they raised the window to get it
right.
counterflashed properly.
Right.
It's my guess. So.
Right. It's possible that they just raised the window for whatever reason. Okay.
That missing cap
well.
between the stone and the siding really creates a really
Yeah.
awkward looking condition. Yeah.
It's like the back.
All right. Well, we've noted a few things for you to check into, but I think we're looking at the stairs.
Sorry.
So if I could,
Derailed.
for the Architectural Review Board to make a motion on the stairs that have been submitted and the addition of that trim.
I would make a motion to approve the revised, what's called new proposed elevation, with the consideration that there will be at the floor of the landing for the stair, a similar horizontal trim that's indicated to occur at the main porch behind it. I can't remember. Was there anything else?
Was that a rake trim as well on the
And the
stair?
rake would be the same height,
On the rake.
On the rake of the stair, the trim on the rake of the stair.
so that it's
Just like that.
the rake's trimmed and the,
Oh, so we're actually,
So
you
just-
want that rake coming down?
Yeah, that's what
Okay,
they were trying to decide how to finish
And
it.
the band trim at the landing of the stair would continue down at the angle of the stair itself.
Okay.
all right, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? 512 Oak is approved as noted. Thanks, Crystal.
Thank you.
Good
Bye.
night.
You too.
Goodbye. All right. And then 336 Hillside. I think Donna looks like she's here.
Donna, we moved you over.
If you could unmute.
Okay, how about that? Can you hear me?
Yes, welcome.
Okay. How are you all this evening?
Pretty good. How are you doing
Hey.
tonight?
Not bad. Haven't seen or talked to you guys in a while.
I know. Come in here and see us in real time again.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm just gonna start with my question about,
Okay.
did you look at it? It seems like the side gables are just a lot of vinyl siding and the
Right.
scale of them. Did you look at or consider doing a hip roof on
Yes.
this house?
Yes.
It just seems overscaled without one.
Yes. The primary reason why the hip does not work on this particular floor plan is if you look at page A3 on the first floor, we've got 11-foot ceilings back in the back kitchen, great room, dining room. And we can't make the hip work with the 11-foot plates back there. I looked at that again today.
Can you repeat that? I'm at sheet A3 now.
Sheet A3, the ceilings in the great room, kitchen and dining room are 11-foot.
Okay, all right, that's what I thought. Okay.
So the plate changes in the back corner, so I can't make it work. I looked at it again today.
It just, yeah, to
Now,
me, it was.
another thing I looked at again today was if we drop the front to back pitch, I could drop it, the ridge 30 inches.
Hmm. Yeah. It just seems like to me that the 11-foot plate height as opposed to what's your standard plate height,
9.
right? That's driving this whole design.
Yes.
I mean,
11 seems a little high, actually, for the width and so forth of these rooms. 11.
The, this house, similar to this in size and proportions, has been built not in Webster and sold immediately, and it's becoming very popular by people that are looking at it.
yeah.
We're
So my
going to do
question
another
is-
2 or 3 of them like this
Yeah.
in
So
different
my
places.
question is why not do the whole house at like 10?
Well, I kind of talk about that to them all the time.
Well, I mean,
you
I've
know-
done that quite a few times for clients, but to me, it just seems odd to have 2 different plate heights generate something that's kind of really out of scale and doesn't have any purpose other than, that's my personal thought. Like the ripple effect on the exterior, it's like the exterior is trying to resolve this, and it seems somewhat arbitrary. 11 feet versus 10.
Well, basically, he doesn't want to go 10 on the whole house. So he wants
I-
it to
I
make
mean,
it
I'm just asking the question.
right. Well, I understand that. Plus, a lot of times he will come back and drop some beams in there. And if you don't give enough room for the beam, you almost need the 2 foot. If you start dropping beams in the space.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
You need almost a 2 foot difference in the ceiling change if you're going to drop beams across the ceiling in those spaces.
The decorative beams in the great room is what you're referring.
Yeah, if you put beams in the, he hasn't decided whether he's going to do that. He probably will. He's done it on every house. He's put decorative beams, box beams
Ceiling though, I mean,
on the ceiling.
It's done with a 10-foot ceiling, it works fine. It's not.
Mhm.
And then the master bedroom with the 11-foot, I guess to me, that would.
That's a coffer, stepped
an
up
awkward
coffer.
room, But,
Yeah.
and like I don't know, I think 10 is pretty high.
Yeah. So that was just my comment.
So in keeping with that, so if you don't hip the roof or do something to, you need to do something to break up all the siding.
Well, that's another reason why we have a different type of siding on the side. That texture, and sometimes it's a color change.
You mean the little portion up in the gable? Is that what you're talking
Yes,
about?
ma'am.
So then there's this whole huge rest of it. Because, I mean, it would help if you like even clipped the roof up there and then put shakes down below it or something like that. Because it's just so big.
I can't guarantee you that a clip is going to work either because of that taller portion back there. Doesn't work very well.
Well, I guess to me, I don't like the way the sides look. I wouldn't approve this because it's still just a spec home. And to say
And
that.
I can,
Okay,
before you go down that road, just let me say one thing. I don't know exactly the addresses, but you've approved a house similar to the big sides like this before.
Right, and we
This
try.
is not the first one we've done.
And we're always trying to get something added to it to break up all this siding. And, it just is getting, it needs to break up the siding. Something needs to. So.
Well, we can't break up cantilevers or box bays or anything like that. We can't put those on.
I'm sorry?
Box bay.
Box bays or cantilevers or anything like that. We can't put those on. That usually breaks up sides too.
Right.
Right, yeah.
You do that.
You can't do that because you don't have any room on the site.
Right.
So did you say something about lowering the pitch?
Yeah, I was just thinking from your perspective,
Mhm.
not siding on the side, but if you want, we could drop the pitch 30 inches if I just change it to 512 instead of 6.
Well, I'm wondering,
That's a lot.
yeah, I mean, that's part of it to me. And, I think we look at every project, it's not always the same people up here, but,
Right,
we look at each one as it comes. So,
right. I know.
so I think that's what struck me on this one personally. So I think,
30 inches is quite a bit to drop that bridge if you look at it.
mhm. I mean, I think
2.5
that
feet.
helps. I mean, honestly, I think it helps to drop the slope.
What is the new slope you're proposing if it's
We
lower?
would go from a 6 to a 5.
And you'll get 30 inches out of that. Huh?
We would go from a 6 to a 5.
Long span. Yeah,
Well.
yeah.
And you'll get your 11 feet in the rear of the house, right? That
Well,
won't-
yeah, because we're not touching that part. That
Okay.
slope of the roof has nothing to do with that. Because the plate is taller back there, so the slope of the roof doesn't affect that.
I thought the slope of the roof does affect.
Now.
Doesn't it?
Now, it's all of, the slope of the roof is above the plate. Doesn't
Right.
affect anything below the plate.
All right. Okay.
I can't hip it because I can't cut it back. Then
Yeah.
I do affect the plate.
Okay.
Well, that makes you feel better. Fine.
Well, I mean, that's one thing, and I think still there was a couple comments about the amount of siding. I know in the past we've had added band boards.
Right, we've had a band
know.
board, and there are some questions about windows too that I want to answer you guys too.
Oh yeah, the window heights.
Yeah,
Please.
so can we go through some of the other ones and maybe, your positions about some of it may change or alter or add,
Sure. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just looking at what Mara sent out. Let me think here, let me see here. You talked about the windows, and I was listening to you guys earlier. And I think I remember who asked this question, but we talked about windows in the master bedroom. Okay, on its side elevation. Hold on,
Yes.
which would be the left side elevation.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to put what I would call a higher transom window in there, because if you consider it's going to go on the bed wall,
Gotcha.
and sometimes you've got to be pretty accurate as to where the size of the bed, the size of your nightstands are going to be able to do a tall window and get a lamp in the right place. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Because that's obviously will be the bed wall. So I'd like to put some transoms there, shut windows up higher.
And that transom would be centered on the room width, right?
No, it'd be on each side of where the beds are. There'll be some space
Oh,
between it.
Two windows. All
I-
right.
Be two.
You can look at it that way. You could also look at it putting a double hung on either side of the bed.
You can, but sometimes I have people complain about the fact that they have to be so accurate with the size of the bed and the size of the nightstand, because they want things to be centered on the nightstand with their.
Well,
You know,
In Webster.
To
Right.
me, it's, the exterior appearance of the house is important. We have a whole lot of siding here. I agree that the amount of siding is unacceptable. And I think you could, with all of the various options available these days, you could probably shop for a bed that would fit the room. And if you have an existing bed, you know the dimensions. So,
I mostly, when I'm doing master bedrooms, I design for the biggest bed and then I make all the windows work.
Right.
So
On
so
both
do I,
sides of the walls.
so do I, but I'm just telling you that sometimes comes back on us.
well,
I usually
you
do
know,
too. And this is not a big room. It shouldn't have big furniture anyway. You know what I mean? Big
You
nightstands.
never
and
know.
things like that.
yeah, it just, there needs to be a lot done to address the amount of siding on the sides of the house. And I think adding the windows would help. And then looking at some other strategies that you've discussed to break this up because it's just too much. So, we would appreciate seeing some of those ideas drawn.
Yeah. I am still curious as your 11-foot plate height, have you guys looked at it, just doing the whole house at 10 instead of half of it at 9 and the other half at 11? Your comment about the extra 2 feet to add beams, if it's an 11-foot ceiling height, plate height versus 10, you can still add beams to a 10-foot and have plenty of depth.
Yeah, it's done all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was just a question, sort of.
I know, but he's done this at 11 before, couple of times
Right.
recently, and people are really liking it. So he wants to do another one at 11. He hasn't decided if he's adding beams here or not. Well, we're going to do beams in the one room.
Yeah. All right.
It's a deep beam.
So you're saying this same house has been built in Webster before, correct?
Not this one right here with 11-foot ceilings in it. No.
Okay, has this house been built somewhere else? You're referring to how popular it is.
Right. He's built it. He's built this area with 11-foot ceilings.
Okay. All right.
So, all right, what else do we have?
You also
Additional
talked about, if I may,
window and
the
bedroom
window,
3.
the window heads on the right elevation.
Mhm.
Reason why those are taller is because of the 11-foot ceiling. And we put the kitchen and the windows and the breakfast room all to line up.
Okay.
That's why they're taller. And they are longer because they have transoms on top.
Mm.
Not every room in the house has transoms.
Yeah. So, and then add a window in bedroom 3 to the right.
Was that, is that on there too? Yeah.
I'm asking right now.
Oh, we can. On the side? Yeah, I can.
It just seems like if you have 2 exterior walls, it's always better to have light from each wall.
Well, sure. Well, I'll put it close to the wall in there like bedroom 2 is, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Otherwise, bedroom 2 would be improved if it had 2 windows and not 1. I think some of these are
Whatever,
suggestions.
guys,
and-
if you want me to add a window, I'm gonna add windows in the master too. I'm just telling you, I'd rather do a half window and do a transom and not a full window. I don't have a problem adding windows in the master.
Well, we're getting into a lot of this and that and this size and that size and maybe this here and maybe this there. I think that you're
Right.
getting some good feedback here and might be a good idea to retire and talk with your client and figure out a proposal, since this is a preliminary.
Right.
And then come back to us with something that you and your client are satisfied with that addresses our comments and we can take a look at it.
Okay, I went over these with the
Ron.
client today, and some of the things I'm saying to you are exactly what we talked about.
Yeah.
But I know it's a preliminary, so.
So
Right.
Are we agreed that you would lower the slope of the roof to a 512 instead of a 612? Is that? am I understanding
That's a
that correctly?
suggestion to try to break the scale of the house down.
Right,
And
that
I
is-
agree that it would help do
Well,
that.
That's kind of what I'm sketching here. Is that what you're indicating?
Yeah, that's what Donna suggested she
Right.
could do.
Right, well, as soon as we read this about the scale of the roof, because you thought it was like a 2-story.
Yeah.
The first thing we said was, we, meaning Nathan and I here in the office, we could drop that pitch down because it doesn't
Yeah.
affect anything. We
Right.
could still do the show gables the way we have them and drop the front to back pitch down. We'd save quite a bit.
Yeah. So that adding a window into all the bedrooms. And we'll leave it to you guys to figure out how it's going to look, and we'll see it in the revision. And then maybe there's a band board that needs to be introduced still.
Just
the
to kind of
side.
break it up a little bit. Okay.
Anything else? All right, Donna, I think that's all we have for you.
So this is going to be a resubmit.
Yeah,
Well, it's a preliminary.
it's preliminary.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, it would be another submittal anyway, right, guys?
Right.
Right, so we
Yeah.
appreciate, it's always good to chat with you and discuss these options. So it sounds like you're open to making some of those changes, so when we can see it the next time.
Oh, sure, absolutely. I just know the hip doesn't work and he's not gonna want to go that way. He would do the hip if we can make it work, but it doesn't work with that plate back there.
Got it. All right, well, I think we're good for tonight. We appreciate your time, Donna.
Well, thank you for your time. See you again.
You're welcome. All right. Have a
Bye-bye.
good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And with that,
Another person?
I,
It's just us.
we're officially adjourned.